Welcome back everyone to the second video. We are going straight into HTML. And yes, what is HTML? Before I go into that, the first video on this channel, we had prepared our work environment. We installed VS Code, we installed the extension, and if you have not been able to do that, you don't know how to do that, please feel free to watch the video. That's the first video on this channel, and you're going to see how we were able to do all the installations and then the extensions as well. Now feel free, if you don't want to use Visual Studio Code, feel free. There are other text editors. You can use Sublime, you can use Notepad if you want to use that, you can use Atom, and as many as you know that you want to use. The basic thing is we are writing code here and we want to be able to produce applications. We're beginning with our websites and web applications. So what is HTML? Now, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So this is the language for creating web pages. And you know that this language helps structure the web page, basically. So that's what we are going to be doing. And on this video, we will be looking at HTML, the boilerplate code. We'll be looking at the series of elements, as many as we can cover, and we see how we use this to structure our web page. So HTML consists of series of elements, and it tells the browser how to display the content. So without delay, we want to go into our text editor and see for ourselves how we get to write this code. So this is where we left off from the first video, and now we want to create a file. So we are going to go ahead to create a file on our desktop, and that file we will go ahead to open right here on Visual Studio Code. On the other hand, I just took a second thought. Now, since we already have our Visual Studio Code open, we can go ahead to create the file directly from Visual Studio Code. So I have just clicked on the file icon right there, the file button, and then let's start with creating a folder. And so in this folder, we are going to have all our files, and we can have several folders depending on the projects that we are working on. So I'm going to say open folder, and this is going to bring up the file explorer. Okay, right there, let's have it enlarged. And so we are going to go to the location of our file. So here I'm going to documents, and I'm going to go to the folder web design, and right there I can create a new folder. We can create a new folder, and we can call this let's call this web 101. So web, let's say HTML, right? So this is HTML underscore 101. Okay, right there. And then we are going to enter, and that folder is being created. So we can go ahead to select that folder. And the moment you select that, it's going to open. And so that folder opens up. How do we know the folder is open? So what you're going to see is you're going to see HTML 101, the name of the folder there. This is the Explorer. And so you have it HTML 101. And right at the top of your Visual Studio Code, you also have HTML 101. It still has the get started window open. We are going to close that. And then we want to open up create a file that we are going to work with. The file will be in this folder, HTML 101. So you have like 3 icons here. The first one says new file. That's where we are going to create the file. This is folder, new folder, and so on. So let's create a folder, a subfolder in HTML 101, and we're going to say lecture 1. So that's the first lecture on the HTML1. Then in this folder, we are going to now create our file, and we'll call this index.html. So whenever you are creating an HTML file, the extension is very important. So you have the name of the file, index.html. We are going to hit the enter key, and now we have the file created. So we close the Explorer by clicking on that Explorer icon, and we have index.html there. Now, let's go ahead now to see what the boilerplate code is. We'll take a look at that. How do we create it? I'm going to show you two ways, basically. The first way is to type the exclamation character on your Visual Studio Code. And how do you get that? You are going to hold down the Shift key and 1. Right above 1 is the exclamation character. So the number 1 key on your keyboard, just hold the Shift key and 1, or wherever you find the exclamation key right on top. So go ahead to do that. Now, your Visual Studio Code, I forgot to talk about this one. So let's talk about it here. Your Visual Studio Code is supposed to have pre-installed emit abbreviation. And so when I typed the exclamation character, you would notice that to my right, you see emit abbreviation. Now, this is the boilerplate code we are supposed to have typed line by line. When I started, I used to type this myself, but now the emit abbreviation makes it easy for us to go ahead and type without having to type all of these things. So the first method is the exclamation mark. When you do that, you have the boilerplate code. If you select the second one, let's scroll to the second one. You see the second one, 3 exclamation marks will give you just the doc type declaration. And we will get to talk about doc type declaration. That is not what we are looking for. We are looking for the first one. So you have the option of clicking on this first one, or you hit the enter key. Just tap on the enter key or use the tab key. So let us go ahead now and describe what this boilerplate code means, beginning from the doc type declaration. So the doc type declaration, which you see on line 1, what does it do? It declares, or it defines, that this document is an HTML5 document. So that is the very first line right there. This is HTML5, and HTML5 is the latest version of HTML. The HTML elements, so we have begun to talk about elements already. So the HTML element is the root element of an HTML. Now, in this HTML element, what do you notice on my text editor? The moment I highlighted the HTML at line 2, down at line 12, the HTML is also highlighted. So let's introduce the term start tag at this point. So this is the start tag of the HTML, and this is the end tag. How do you know an end tag of an element? There is the forward slash there. So the forward slash. So we have a couple of them on screen. We have the start tag for the body and the end tag as well. Let's look at the head section. We have the start tag for the head and the end tag. So in between this, we have the contents right there. So back to the HTML. This HTML this element is the root element for an HTML page. And in it, we have the lang attributes, the language attributes. And so the language we are working with is English. So we got EN, that's the value. If it is French, it's going to be FR. If it's Spanish, Espanol, that's ES. And a lot of them, they have abbreviations, usually 2-letter abbreviations. The next we are looking at is the head element. This section contains meta information about the HTML page. So we have the meta, the character set, UTF-8. This helps us to use special characters as well. So we have the meta and all of these values here. We will get to look at them. This one, viewport, the name is the name attribute, the value viewport. This deals with responsiveness of the page. And then the title element. So the meta attributes are usually not seen on your browser. However, the title of your page will be seen on your browser. It's going to be seen on the tab. So when we click on go live, we will find that there will be nothing on our browser. Let's go ahead to do that. But we will see the title. What is the title here? It is document. So we are going to see that on our browser. I will just quickly show that to you. I am going to click on go live here, and then we should see that on our browser. Okay, and just to let you know, the go live button was pretty just behind me, so it looks like I covered it, but it's this one here. So when you have clicked on it, it turns from go live to port, and it shows the port number on which it is open. Here we are using port 5500. So here it says click. When you hover on it after you've already opened or gone live, then it's going to say click to close the server. We don't intend to do that. What we want to do is to see our browser. So we go there and we can see that this page is empty, like it's clean. There is nothing on it. However, we see that on the top of that page, here is the title document there. And that is the same document that you see in the text editor at the title there, document. Let's change it and see if it's going to reflect as well. The HTML 101. So we will go back again and see if this is going to work for us. And so we got HTML 101 and back to the browser. What do you see right up there? It reflects the title of the page. Okay, so enough of that. So we've just dealt with a boilerplate code. I will go ahead now to show you the second method to get the boilerplate code. This is not all too important. So the second method is just to type HTML, and then you have three options. What is the emit abbreviation for each of this option? Now for the first option, the emit abbreviation there is, let's go back again. So the emit abbreviation, the first option is just the start tag and the end tag. The second one, HTML5, we are doing HTML5. And so you see it gives us the boilerplate code in full. The third option, which is XML, and this is what it gives to us. We're not doing that. We are dealing with HTML5. So we're going to select the second option. Either you use the enter key or the tab key, or you go ahead to click on that. So we still have the same code. Okay, so your page will usually have a head section, which is this one. And in the head section, you will usually have metadata. You would also usually have links to other pages like style sheets. And so we're going to practice that here as well. You will also have the title of the page there. If you have scripts that you want to put at the head section, you can also put the link to them. And if you are using any other CSS framework, we can also link them at the head section. These links do not show up on your browser. You don't see them. They actually just link style sheets to your HTML page. In the body section, that is where you are going to type the things you need to see on your browser. So talking about elements here, we have certain elements. Now, what is an element? Let's take a look at one of them. We will go ahead to talk about what elements are. So I'm going to use one of the elements called the H1 element. Now, elements usually have a start tag, they have an end tag, and then they have content. So with the emit abbreviation, for me to have the h1 element, I would just type h1, and then it's going to make available the end tag as well. Look at it here. So this is h1 I typed, and then we have h1 start tag. So this is how we write start tags, and the end tag will be there with the forward slash. So I'm going to select this, or I'll hit the enter key or the tab key, and here we have it. So h1, and so we are going to put here first HTML video, or let's say class. So this is going to show up on our browser, and it's going to show up as heading 1. When we get to this section with on heading, we are going to see the 6 types of headings that we have, but this is the largest of them. And so when we go to our browser, we should see heading 1 more time. Okay, good. So we have it there, first HTML class, and that is all you see on the body of this page, because that is the only thing in the body section of this page. Thank you for being on this channel. Feel free to subscribe, like this very video, share this video. We are on this journey to having proficient, professional programmers, and you are one of them. And in the end, we will be able to create amazing applications. On this journey, we are creating amazing websites. We just started with HTML5. Good. Thank you very much. Cheers to your success, and see you on the next video. Goodbye.